Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we are at DGDG in San Jose, California. And Ted, this panel today we're going to talk about used car reconditioning.
We have the leaders of reconditioning here. Gentlemen, if you would, just introduce yourselves and tell us what you do here at DGDG starting.
I'm Jeff Lillibridge. I'm Source Manager at Stevens Creek Mazda.
William McCurry, I'm the Vice President of Fixed Operations for DGDG.
Scott Pettitt, Vice President of Aerial Operations for DGDG. Mike New, Used Car Manager, Stevens Creek Mazda.
Al Feria, General Manager at Salinas.
Well, Scott, I want to kick things off with you and talking about the used vehicle strategy and also the relationship with service. How do you two find the middle ground between used cars and service so the vehicle is front line ready without blowing the budget?
That is a fantastic question. You want to? I'll take care of it. So, I think first of all, the key to just a successful used car operation is making sure you understand the reconditioning. So it's not always about what you pay. It's about having a good process of identifying what you need. We have gone from being full retail, which, at times was probably a little difficult, to making sure that we have a labor rate and a parts rate that makes sense for both parties. This is an ecosystem that's symbiotic. We have to be able to help support them, and they have to support us. I mean, we are their best customer, if you think about it, is the variable operations. But at the end of the day, it can't be a detriment because all they have to do is sell time. And if time is the one asset that they have, we got to make sure that they make an ROI on that time. So I think first having clear communication about what the end goal we want to get from the internal work that we have, the margins that we want. And then on top of that, making sure that they help us be able to identify what we should be looking at when it comes to reconditioning. We're not technicians. We're not going to be out there checking the car like a technician probably would, but we need to be as close as we can to that same level. So they do a fantastic job of showing us where what we would call our 6 wear items and give us the tools to be able to measure that. And then on top of that, when we do have questions, they're able to stop and help us put a car on a lift and do things like that. When it works together, everybody can rise. And making sure that we have PDRs that make sense in the front end of the used car. It's not over, but it's also successful for us. We all have our margins they have to make.
Al, I want to come to you. We talk in the industry about days to front line, having the vehicle front line ready. From your data across thousands of stores, what is the silent killer of recon speed that most dealerships don't even realize is hacker?
Well, as we know in our industry, time is money. So from the time the vehicle gets taken in trade or we acquire the vehicle, if I have a used car manager, which I do, working with the service manager, our time frame is from acquisition to through service is 6 days, and to the front line is 10. So if we can do that, then our profit doesn't erode, and the vehicle is ready to go, and the guys are ready to sell the car.
Mike, I'm curious, how does visibility, simply knowing exactly where a car is, whether it's in the paint or the detail department or going through, mechanical inspections, how does that change the accountability of the team members involved?
I think visibility creates accountability. So when we're able to see the car go through the entire system and it's very transparent and we all know who's working on that vehicle at that time, if there's any bottlenecks or any issues, we're able to identify them immediately and keep the car flowing through the process to get it on the front line quicker. So
Jeff, I want to talk to you about workflows. How is implementing a structured workflow rather than just fitting it in when we can? That's what we hear a lot about in the industry, right? How's that changed the morale of your technicians who are working on these routes?
I think it's important to get their buy-in. Just treat it almost like a customer car, where they're understanding part of the bigger picture, that we need to get these cars out in a timely manner, and we can't let them sit out back. And when they have recommendations on them, that if the flow is to get that car right back in, just when they're just as excited to get back onto a customer car, they're just as excited to get back onto that used car and get it out because they know that they're going to have it up front for sales. So understanding the full picture is there.
All right. Well, and, just thinking about, William, the pieces between variable and fixed operations in this are so important. what is the one non-negotiable rule in your dealership for a successful recon process?
I mean, the one non-negotiable for us is teamwork. Because as Scott said earlier, neither one of us can succeed without the other. If they don't sell cars, we don't have cars to service. If we don't do a good job of taking care of the customers when we have them, they're not going to come back. If we're not, in lockstep with the variable side in getting them the cars to be able to sell, the life cycle breaks. And so, I think teamwork would be the simplest word that I would say that we have to be sure that we have to make sure that we're all rowing in the same direction. I think sometimes you can have a divide between the two halves of the dealership. And the reality of it is that we're on the same team with the same goal. We just have different functions. And so I would say it's just really important that the departments collaborate well together for our shared success.
Could I add a little to that too? I'll say this again, compensation has a lot to do with this when you're talking about figuring that out, and it can't be the only thing. So when we look at things, our compensation plans, they have to complement each other. So what's important to me is important to William. And it's not a lot, but it's just enough so that you understand that there's a reason why we're their best customer. There's a reason why they come back, because they have the 15 or 10 visits with them before they come with us. And sometimes people just forget and they get short-sighted. And that's the one thing we have to do, is make sure that we make it very clear. As he said, no one's successful without the other.
And Al, if I could just give a follow-up. Earlier, Scott mentioned the silos, and I've heard William say it as well, breaking down the silos. This recon process is really something that fits not into just variable, but it's also fixed. It's both of these, so it's really all as one. If you want to comment on that and how important it is.
Yeah, I think our used car department, I mean, it makes the dealership go. I mean, from service to parts to sales, that's what it makes our world go round and round. So, it's super important that we, like William was saying, that we work lockstep together, and that we coexist together and make sure that we're working as a team. And here at DGG, that is part of our culture, is team. So everybody knows that. That's what we live by, and it just works.
And William, even just a couple of years ago, recon was not as much top of mind as it is today. And that really is a very, very big factor for both variable and fixed, if you want to speak to that.
No, I mean, absolutely. Scott kind of touched on it a little bit. I mean, we, several years ago, we even integrated recon turn time into all of the fixed managers' pay plans. It's part of what they are compensated on. Like, that's one of the elements. And I think in years past, you would have viewed that as something out of their control or not something that's important to their purview. And I think it's something that we recognize that's such a linchpin of the overall operation. Like Al said, used cars touches every department. It's one of the few, instances that touches sales, service, parts, everything. And so, us having that cohesion and what we're trying to do is really what makes us successful in that arena.
And Scott, I'll give you the last word. You mentioned compensation earlier. Here we are again at Compensation Health Court, that is.
Yeah, I mean, we're all creatures of habit, and the things that we tend to do, we're working for a paycheck. Don't get me wrong, these guys are some of my best friends in the world. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of our family. So when we understand that that's important, then we need to make them successful. That's our job, is to make sure that they're successful. But by doing that, we want to make sure that the behaviors are began or reinforced that makes the business successful. So when we think of compensation, it's all about the behaviors that we want to create. And in this, at least here at DGDG, reconditioning is on top of mind. I mean, we're checking it every day. Every step matters, as he said. And it's really what gets, Jeff might not have known, or he knew Mike beforehand. They might not have liked each other. And now these guys are best friends. So it's a hats off to our team, but it's really just the behaviors we want to keep.
Ted, this is so exciting. Variable and fixed, really working together and creating better opportunities for dealerships.
That's right. I'm Ted Ings with Sarah Vantine. We're here at DGDG in San Jose, California, with the leaders of reconditioning. We are going to be right back.